I sold a rental property in 2008 for $300,000. Thought I was being smart, getting out before the market crashed completely. Today, that same property is worth $1.4 million. I fumbled the bag, lost over $1 million because I panicked. And I've spent the last 17 years thinking about that decision every single day. Hey everyone, my name is Dennis. I'm 76 years old, and I want to tell you about the biggest financial mistake of my life. Not a scam, not fraud, just a terrible decision made out of fear. A decision that cost me and my family over $1 million. A decision I'll regret until the day I die. Let me take you back to 2003. I was 63 years old, still working as an engineer. My wife Linda and I had done well, saved carefully, lived below our means, had our house paid off, and we'd accumulated about $400,000 in savings and investments. I'd been reading about real estate investing, how it was the path to wealth, how rental properties generated passive income and appreciated over time, and I thought, we should do this. We should buy a rental property. Linda was skeptical. She said, Dennis, we don't know anything about being landlords. What if something goes wrong? But I convinced her, told her it was a smart investment, that real estate always goes up, that we'd have rental income to supplement our retirement. So we started looking, and we found a small house in what was then a pretty rough neighborhood in Oakland. 3-bedroom, 1 bath, needed work, but the price was right, $180,000. We bought it, put 20% down, got a mortgage for the rest, spent another $30,000 fixing it up. New roof, new appliances, paint, flooring, made it rentable. Total investment, $210,000. Almost everything we had in cash. We rented it out for $1,500 a month. After mortgage, taxes, insurance, we were clearing maybe $300 a month. Not great, but okay. And the property was appreciating. That was the real play. Buy it, hold it, let it appreciate. For the first few years, things went okay. Normal landlord stuff. Tenants would move out, we'd find new ones, occasional repairs, nothing too dramatic. The neighborhood was starting to improve, young families moving in, coffee shops opening, good signs. By 2007, the property was worth about $350,000. We'd gained almost $150,000 in equity in 4 years. I felt like a genius. Linda said, maybe we should sell, take the profit. And I said, no way. This is just the beginning. This property is going to be worth $500,000 in a few years. Then 2008 hit. The housing market started to collapse. The financial crisis, banks failing, foreclosures everywhere. And I started getting scared. I'd read that real estate always goes up, but now it was going down, fast. Properties in our area were losing value monthly. And I started panicking. I watched the news every night, financial experts saying the market was going to crash completely, that we were heading into another Great Depression, that real estate would take decades to recover. And I thought about our property, thought about the $300,000 in equity we had, and I thought, we need to get out before we lose everything. Linda said, Dennis, let's wait. This will pass. Real estate always recovers. But I was terrified. I'd worked my whole life to build that nest egg, and I was convinced we were about to lose it all if we didn't act fast. So in September 2008, I put the property on the market, listed it for $320,000, got an offer within 2 weeks for $300,000. I took it. We walked away with about $90,000 in profit after paying off the mortgage and closing costs. Added to what we'd already saved, we had around $500,000 total, safe in the bank, protected from the market crash. I felt relieved, smart, like I'd dodged a bullet. The market kept falling for another year. Properties in Oakland dropped another 20%, and I felt vindicated. I'd gotten out at the right time, saved our money, made the smart play. Except I hadn't. By 2010, the market started recovering, slowly at first, then faster, and Oakland, specifically the neighborhood where our property was, started gentrifying fast. Tech companies were expanding in San Francisco. Workers were getting priced out of the city. They started moving to Oakland, to neighborhoods like ours. The rough area we'd bought in was suddenly desirable. Property values started climbing and climbing and climbing. The house we sold for $300,000 in 2008, I watched it sell again in 2012 for $500,000. Then in 2015 for $750,000. Then in 2019 for $1.1 million. And in 2023 it sold again, $1.4 million. We sold it for $300,000. 15 years later, it's worth $1.4 million. We lost $1.1 million in appreciation, plus 15 years of rental income, probably another $150,000 there. $1.25 million gone because I panicked and sold at the worst possible time. I've spent the last 17 years watching that property appreciate while we sat on cash that barely kept up with inflation. Watching the neighborhood we invested in become one of the hottest real estate markets in the country. Knowing we'd owned a piece of it, and I gave it away out of fear. Do you know what $1.25 million means to someone my age? To my kids? To my grandkids? That's generational wealth. That's college tuition for all 5 grandkids. That's helping my daughter buy her first house. That's leaving something meaningful when I die. Instead, we have about $600,000 now. After 17 years of careful saving and conservative investing, $600,000 when we could have had almost $2 million. And it's my fault, all of it. My decision, my panic, my failure to hold steady when things got scary. Linda has never once said, "I told you so," but I know she thinks about it. I see it in her face sometimes when we talk about money. When we have to say no to helping the kids with something because we can't afford it. When we talk about our legacy. We could have afforded it. We could have helped if I hadn't sold that property. My son-in-law is a real estate investor now, has 3 rental properties, makes good money from them, and he'll casually mention real estate trends, talk about appreciation in Oakland, and I have to sit there knowing I had that opportunity and threw it away. He asked me once, "Dennis, didn't you own a rental in Oakland back in the day? Whatever happened with that?" And I had to tell him. Had to admit I sold it in 2008. Had to watch his face as he did the math and realized what I'd lost. He didn't say anything, just nodded, but I saw it in his eyes. Pity, disbelief, the unspoken thought, how could you be so stupid? And he's right. How could I be so stupid? I had the investment. I had the fundamentals right. Good property, good location, good timing on the purchase. All I had to do was hold it. Just hold it through the downturn. Real estate is long-term. Everyone knows that. Hold for 10, 20, 30 years. Ride out the cycles. But I panicked. I let fear override common sense. I sold low. The cardinal sin of investing. And I've paid for it. We've paid for it. My family has paid for it. The worst part, the absolute worst part, I knew better. In my gut, I knew we should hold. Linda said we should hold, but I let the fear take over. Let the talking heads on TV convince me the world was ending. Made an emotional decision about what should have been a rational long-term investment. And now I'm 76 years old. Too old to make it back, too old to take another big swing, too old to recover from this mistake. The 90,000 profit we made seemed like so much at the time, seemed like we'd won, but compared to what we gave up, it's nothing. Pocket change. I fumbled the bag. That's what the young people say, right? I fumbled the bag. Had the opportunity in my hands and dropped it out of fear. I think about it constantly. What that extra million would mean. How our retirement would be different. What we could do for our kids, for our grandkids. My granddaughter starts college next year. Smart kid, got into a good school. And we can help a little, but not much. Not as much as I'd like. Because I don't have the money. Because I sold a property that would have paid for her entire education and then some. She'll take out loans, work part-time, graduate with debt, like most kids do. And every time I think about that, I think about the property that could have changed that for her. I try not to be bitter, try not to dwell on it. Linda says, Dennis, you have to let it go. What's done is done. We're fine. We have enough. And she's right. We are fine. We're not destitute. We have enough to live comfortably. We're not struggling. But fine isn't what we could have had. Enough isn't $2 million. And comfortable isn't leaving a real legacy for our family. I made one bad decision, one panic-driven sale, and it cost us everything we could have built. The people who bought our property for $300,000 in 2008, they held it. They rode out the crash. They watched it recover. They sold it for $1.4 million and walked away with over $1 million in profit. They did what I should have done. They had the courage I didn't have, and they got the reward I gave away. Sometimes I drive by that property. I don't know why I do it. It hurts every time. But I drive by and I look at it and I think, that was mine. That was supposed to be our future, and I sold it for nothing. The house looks good. They fixed it up nice. New siding, landscaped yard, probably worth even more than 1.4 now. And someone else is benefiting from it. Someone else gets to enjoy the appreciation. Someone else gets the wealth we built the foundation for. I'm 76 years old. I fumbled the bag, made the worst financial decision of my life, lost over $1 million in future wealth because I was scared and impatient and didn't trust the fundamentals. And there's no fixing it, no going back, no second chances, just regret. Deep, permanent regret. If you're holding an investment right now and you're scared because the market's down, because things look bad, because everyone's panicking, please learn from my mistake. Don't sell out of fear. Don't make permanent decisions based on temporary conditions. Don't fumble the bag like I did, because you'll regret it. For the rest of your life, you'll regret it. That's all I have to say. Thanks for listening to an old man who learned the most expensive lesson of his life and is still paying for it 17 years later.